Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy holidays.
I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Don't care about the presents underneath the Christmas tree. All I want for Christmas is you.
The Blab.
Out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stocking, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a hurry. So climb down the chimney, put up the brightest string of lights I've ever seen. Slice up the fruit cake, it's time we hung some tinsel on that evergreen bough. For I've grown a little leaner, grown a little colder, grown a little sadder, grown a little older, and I need a little angel sitting on my shoulder, need a little Christmas now. Haul out the holly, haven't I taught you well to live each living day? Fill up the stocking. It's 1 week past Thanksgiving Day now. But we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a hurry.
Climb down the chimney. It's been a long time since I got the baby.
Slice up the fruit cake. It's time we hung some tinsel on that bayberry bough. For we need a little music, need a little laughter, need a little singing, ringing through the rafter, and we need a little snappy, happy ever after. Need a little Christmas now. Need a little Christmas now.
My God, that is some seriously, absolutely needy people.
That's like the Christmas Freebird. I mean, that goes on and on forever.
Yeah, but you know what? I edited out the instrumental portion, which runs about 2.5 minutes. Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad. Hey, what are you looking at? It's the Blab for your Christmas 2021. I'm Scott Edward Phelps. Dave Simmons is here with bells on. And we started off the perennial show here with that timely tune, catchy, for several reasons. Number one, because I know from last time we did this is one of your favorites, mine too, because it's got that cheery sort of thing going on.
Right.
But I came across that version and I remembered where it came from. And I thought, because you like the song so much and you, next to me, you're the only person I've ever met who knows everything, whether you do or not. So I thought I'd test your acumen. Do you know where that song came from?
No, I do not. Had to be a musical.
Yes, it did. Well, it could have just been written on its own.
No, it had.
It sounds like a musical, doesn't it? Well, you're right. Gosh darn it! I wish I had something to give you in the way of a dinger or a
dinger.
Well, you know, it's Christmas. Behave yourself.
No dingles here.
Wait, what's that? What's that smell?
I smell pudding.
Yeah, it must be Christmas time. Jerry Herman, who was a Broadway composer of many ilks through the years, 50s, 1960s, etc. That song was written for the Broadway musical and eventual movie Mame. And singing it, that's from the Broadway production. The lady who started off playing, actually Rosalind Russell, I think, was in Broadway for a while with Mame. That was Auntie Mame. That was different. Same character, different deal. Anyway, Mame, that's Angela Lansbury.
Oh, Lord.
Who played Mame on Broadway.
Murder, She Wrote, yes.
But way back in like the 1960s.
Back when she was hot.
Okay. Well, then she was hot, and then she went through a phase where her son was trying to assassinate the presidential candidate, and it gets into a whole thing. And what's it all about this time around? Well, first of all, this program is we absolutely promise 100%, and I'm talking about 100%, okay, 100% Mariah free. There's not a Mariah tone of Mariah in the place.
I would not do that to our listener.
There you go. To our listener. Either one of them. And no politics. It's Christmas. We're just going to be idiots in a non-political fashion as opposed to usually, and play our favorite or most noteworthy songs along the way. That was one of Dave's, although he didn't pick that one. I just wanted to open up with it. To open up our Song Fest, Dave's got one. You want to mention something about this before we do it?
Sure. Well, it's a classic, not an old classic, not a Burl Ives classic, but it's a Paul McCartney classic. Wonderful Christmas Time, but it's not Paul McCartney. It's Mickey Dolenz and the Monkees.
Wow. Because, and there's not really, with the exception of Mariah here on this program, there's not a more maligned song than McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time. Nobody's in the middle on this song. They either think it's just cool, groovy, and the bestest of all, or they hate it with a passion.
Right. And Mickey does a pretty straightforward version. And take a listen.
As it turns out. Nice job on the wobbly uke there at the end, dude.
Yeah, that was.
You didn't know that Dave played the ukulele.
That's from the Monkees' The Christmas Party album.
Christmas Party album. And spoiler alert: Dave's picks this year are all Monkees
because of
the passing of Mike Nesmith this year. And, but we're looking at this as a more festive kind of thing. In fact, we're not going to go, oh, Mike's gone. Well, because, he had a good life and good for him and it's Christmas time and he did Christmas stuff too. But we threw in some stuff we've been doing on the regular programming. Gosh darn it. In fact, last week's program, we talked about, Dave had the question. You had a question about mistletoe. Do you remember what the question was?
Yes.
And what was the question?
Where did they get the name for the plant mistletoe?
Well, it turns out it's a useless fact.
And now another useless fact.
Mistletoe, and I don't have to make shit up, and that's not a pun, you'll find out in a second. Mistletoe, translated from the Anglo-Saxon, means dung on a twig, and it spreads through bird droppings. So think about that the next time you're smooching.
Wow. So that's why it'll appear way up in the top of a tree.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of shit, huh?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
You're the witty one.
Well, it's what to do. All right. My first song is not one of those that kind of what we do on the program and traditionally have done is stuff that you haven't heard already so much during the season that you want to take a knitting needle and shove it through your eye. And I mean that in the nicest Christmassy way. But this song is particularly sentimental for me because it's been heard a billion times. But it is for me because it reminds me of my childhood, my elementary school years before I learned about things like battling parents and divorce and I learned about the way fucking life works, okay? And it was just one of those. And it still has kind of a charm for it, although it's fairly dated. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it's my first pick.
All right, you chipmunks, ready to sing your song?
I'll say we are. Yeah, let's sing it now.
Okay, Simon?
Okay.
Okay, Theodore?
Okay.
Okay, Alvin? Alvin? Alvin!
Okay. Christmas, Christmas time is near. Time for toys and time for cheer. We've been good, but we can't last. Hurry, Christmas, hurry fast. One the plane that moves the loop. Me, I want a hula hoop. We can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late.
Okay, fellas, get ready. That was very good, Simon.
Naturally.
Very good, Theodore. Alvin, you were a little flat. Watch it. Alvin. Alvin. Alvin!
Want a plane that loops the loop. I still want a hula hoop. We can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late. We can hardly stand the wait. Please, Christmas, don't be late.
Very good, boys.
Let's sing it again. Yeah, let's sing
No,
it
that's enough. Let's not overdo
What
it.
do you mean overdo it? We want to sing
Now,
it
wait a
again.
minute, boys.
Yeah, it's pretty. Why can't we sing it
Alvin,
again?
cut that out. Wait. Theodore, just a minute. Simon, will you cut that out? Get off.
The hamsters have taken over. It was a wonderful song, and
Yes.
just for trivia buffs, you can find all this stuff out on the Google. But that was the credits were the group was David Seville and the Chipmunks, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. David Seville obviously did the voices for it, and Dave and I were talking while the song was playing. This was recorded around 1958 or 1959, and that's quite a feat. There was no software, there was no cut and paste. There was no
was just tape
It
speed.
was just tape speed, and that's all
Yeah.
it was. And matching the harmonies was great. But here's a little fun trivia for you, which I may or may not have mentioned in past shows. David Seville was actually a character that was invented by the creator of the whole thing. His name was Ross Bagdasarian. And Bagdasarian had a fairly successful song career back in the 1950s. He wrote the Rosemary Clooney hit, Come On to My House. And here's a fun trivia. If you're an Alfred Hitchcock buff, in the Jimmy Stewart movie Rear Window, where he's sitting in the wheelchair looking at all the people in the apartments across from him in the very beginning of the movie, and you kind of get a sense of which people are living in which apartment. There's one apartment where there's a big stand-up piano, an old spin-it piano, upright rather, and it's a songwriter and his buddy who are sharing the apartment, and they keep flashing back occasionally, and they're working on a song or whatever. The guy playing the piano in those scenes is Ross Bagdasarian.
Oh, wow.
Who created Alvin and the Chipmunks. So where else can you go for like totally useless and yet fun information like that except to the Blab Christmas show? Dave's got let me guess. Is it a monkey song?
It's another monkey song, and it is What Would Santa Do? It was written by Rivers Cuomo. No relation.
What would Santa do? Is that what you said?
No.
Rivers Cuomo?
Rivers Cuomo.
Did he get fired too?
No,
we're not going there. All right.
Yeah, no relation, from Weezer, and it's from the Monkees Christmas Party album. And he specifically wrote it for Mickey Dolenz and the Monkees.
Well, coincidentally, here's Mickey Dolenz and the Monkees. And what would Santa do?
Bah humbug is the word that I'm hearing on the street. Everywhere I go, there's a Grinch taking tinsel off a tree. Tell me it's no good. Tell me it's passé. Tell me anything to take my cheer away. Makes me wanna clench my fist and sock 'em in the mouth. What would Santa do? What would Santa do? Would he strike back? Would he keep his cool? 'Cause I need a helping hand, and I just want to understand. What would Santa do? What would he do? Come home, see a pair of boots that don't fit my feet. Hear a ho, ho, ho from my room, and I know what that means. I never thought this could be. I thought your love only me. But there's some red wool clothes under the mistletoe. And now I wanna jump on his sleigh, take off into the sky. What would Santa do? What would Santa do? Would he strike back? Would he keep his cool? 'Cause I need a helping hand, and I just want to understand. What would Santa do? What would he do? It's not the same as it was. It's not the same as it was. What would Santa do? What would Santa do? Would he strike back? Would he pray for you? We all need a helping hand. Could you help me understand? What would Santa do? What do we do? What would Santa do? What would Santa do? What should we do?
Quick fade there. That's the Monkees. It's 4:14, cats and kitties, 47 degrees outside. You're listening to the Blab 2021 Christmas show. I'm Scott.
You can actually hear Weezer doing that with that big chorus. Like
You can. A lot of people don't know who Weezer is. It's one of those, kind of things that I gripe a lot about at times about the way that the internet has really kind of screwed up radio in the sense that you can't do contests anymore. You can't do fun trivia stuff because before the question is completely out of your mouth, somebody's Googled the answer and they're calling in. But that said, there's a lot of stuff that you have access to and information. So if you want, a friend of mine actually said some years ago, a number of years ago now, he said, and he was off by about 7 or 8 years, but he said within 5 years, this was back in the 80s, within 5 years, if you don't have a PC in your house, it's going to be the equivalent of not having a phone in the 1920s or 1930s.
Right, right.
And he also said the beauty of the internet is eventually it's going to be like having the public library in your house.
Yeah.
Anything you need to find out about it, pretty much anything you can.
And then now on your phone, you can carry the public
There it
library
is.
with you wherever you go.
Which is why, and I've said this on some of the programs that I've worked on, and this is why it's so funny and silly when you hear people on the radio, especially the music programs, not talk radio, but music shows, doing the time and temperature and all the rest of that, which is what you're taught when you're in broadcasting school, that's what you do, but it's superfluous.
Right.
Because people don't really need it anymore, nevertheless. All right. You want to mention, and the time we're doing this program is close to Christmas time 2021, so depending on when you hear it, this information will be valid or not be valid, but you're still working with Saul Knopf and doing the Neil Diamond thing.
Yes.
And you've got a show coming up when?
We've got 2 shows. We January 28th at the beautiful Everett Theater in Middletown, Delaware.
Okay.
January 29th, we return to the Milton Theater in Milton, Delaware.
A lovely venue.
That is, Scott came to see
And
me
hopefully
at
the video system will be
the
working.
video
when you
system
go.
will be working this time because we will come prepared.
Yeah, you had your chance. I'm not coming back. Well, I bring that up by way of, and it's a wonderful show. You should see it. And Dave is great in it, but you should see it just because. And I bring that up by way of segueing into my next choice. This guy is, iconic's a word that gets thrown around a lot, but I think it's fair to call Neil Diamond iconic.
He's iconic. Yes.
Okay. And I think Howard Wolowitz and Amy Farrah Fowler both love him. So
There you have it.
But I didn't realize until I went back through my Christmas stuff and I was reminded of this particular song. I said, and I want to share this with you all if you're not familiar with it. Not only is Neil a gifted guy, and he's a warm, from all appearances I've ever seen or heard about him, he's a warm and wonderful fellow. And he does a lovely Christmas song, but he's a hell of a promoter and marketer. And you don't get to that status in your life without knowing a little bit about how to get your stuff in front of the audience and create a demand, and or, as the case may be. And I didn't make this. This is not a parody or anything. This is a song that he put on a Christmas album a number of years ago. But you'll know what I'm talking about when I say, gee, Neil, wink, wink. Way to go, buddy.
Wish you a very merry, cherry Christmas, and a holly holy holiday too. Underneath your tree, may there always be sounds of harmony, not a song sung blue. Just a very merry, cherry Christmas. And if all of those who love you gather near, you'll have a very merry, cherry, holly holy, rock and rolly Christmas this year. When the snow drops on the treetops, it's a pretty amazing scene. Hear the choir, light the fire. Feels like pretty amazing grace, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, it's Christmas time. In a world of make-believe, I'm a believer, and I believe in things not always understood. But the things you feel make believing real. That's why Christmas feels so good, so good, so good. When you imagine all the world as one great chorus, you're gonna learn that every voice has got a song. Let's raise a Christmas toast of red, red wine. We'll even sing Sweet Caroline while the whole world sings along. laughing. It's a beautiful noise that lifts you like a song. Makes you want to have a very merry, holly holy, cherry cherry Christmas time the whole year long. The whole year long. Sing your Christmas song. The whole year long.
And of course, the
Christmas, everyone.
same to you, buddy. The lesser known B-side of that wonderful Neil Diamond recording was a not. I don't have a copy of it because it's a collector's item now. The oft listened to and desired. You Don't Bring Me Mistletoe Anymore. Is there any Neil Diamond song that isn't mentioned in the lyrics of
That was
the
beautiful.
Cherry Cherry Christmas? It's a lovely song, but the dude's slick. That's how you promote your work.
I like how he said, so good,
So
so
good,
good,
so
so good.
Neil, you salesman, you rascal, you. All right, you're listening to the Blab Christmas for 2021. And we're just playing songs, man. We're sitting around the hearth. We got the...
We popping a few beers.
That's right, eggnog in a can. Popping a few beers. Dave comes from a different Christmas warmth than I do. Christmas was not a time for beer. Christmas was the time in my drinking days. It was praline liqueur, eggnog with Jack Daniels. Oh, God, I miss the good old days.
Eggnog and Jack Daniels.
We talked on last week's show a lot about Mike Nesmith and the Monkees and their kind of sort of connection to, or at least their proximity with, their friendship with the Beatles. You may or may not know the Beatles are big again because of the Peter Jackson documentary, and good job, Peter, at this broadcast. But back in 1960, starting in 1963, actually very late, and then 1964 after they came to America, the Beatles, each and every Christmas for 5 years, used to issue a Christmas record exclusively to members of their fan club. And it wasn't like they sat down and wrote a specific Christmas song. Well, I'm sure McCartney must have tempted him because he was always looking for a way to be front and center. Yesterday, all my Christmas trees were going away. But no, he didn't do that. But they were kind of, well, they're kind of a curio of, they're historical documents is really what they are. And I have a chunk of one here, and I just thought for the fun of it. This is what, if you were a member of the Beatles fan club, every Christmas between 1964 and 1969, I think was the last time they did one. And this is the 1964 one. This is the first one. They were in their very early 20s at the time. Just take a... It was good to be alive in those days. Fun guys. It was 1964. Lennon and Ringo were 24.
They could literally do anything and it would sell.
Yeah. No, and the membership in the club wasn't all that expensive in $1964.
No. Were you a member?
I wasn't. My sister was.
Yeah.
But I was cool. I was like 13.
You're too cool for school?
I was 13 in 1964, and, I was too cool. My sister was 1964. She was 7. Yeah. So, yeah, she was of that.
There you go.
In fact, I remember, just to be me, one morning around sometime in 1965, for whatever reason it was, I went in, and this was actually several years before it actually happened. I tiptoed into her bedroom first thing in the morning when she was still sleeping, and I knelt down by the side of their bed, and I put my hand on her shoulder, and I said, wake up, wake up, wake up. And she opened her eyes. What? And I said, it was just on the news. Paul McCartney got married. And she burst into tears. Because she was going to be Paul's wife someday.
Well, everybody was.
I was a big brother. It was my job to screw her up.
That's too funny.
All right, what do you got? What's next on the Dave Christmas Monkey Hit Parade?
Yes, it's a tribute to Mike Nesmith. This one's from the TV show. It's always been a favorite of mine.
It's a favorite of mine too, but let me interject real quickly. Be forewarned, okay? If you have young people at home or you're inclined to be like the old thing where the flashing strobe lights make you go into epileptic seizures, this is a beautiful piece of work, but it is an absolute earworm. So be forewarned, because I was listening to this in the run through today, and all damn day long, every time my head had a tune in it, there it was. So just be
they did it for the TV show. Now it reappeared on the Target version, the Target exclusive version of Monkey's Christmas Party, and the original producer Chip Douglas remixed it for the exclusive Target release. So it's Rui Chewy.
And it's a cappella for those of you who don't know.
Yes, a cappella, and
it's from the Latin meaning full of pella. And it's a Blab Christmas.
Riu, riu, shiu, la guarda ribera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Riu, riu, shiu, la guarda ribera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. El lobo rabioso la quiso morder, mas Dios poderoso la supo defender. Quízole hacer que no pudiese pecar, ya no originales tu virgen no tuviera. Riu, riu, shiu, la guarda ribera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Esta que es nacido es el gran monarca, Cristo patriarca de carne vestido, ya nos redimido con serse chiquito, aunque infinito, finito se hiciera. Riu, riu, shiu, la guarda ribera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera. Dios guardó el lobo de nuestra cordera.
Which is Arabic for let's twist again like we did last summer, baby.
I always just love the harmonic interplay with all.
There is nothing more poignant than the human voice in harmony with the other human voices when it's done well and done well, and they did.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the song itself is all about. It's some kind of...
I think it was like a Gregorian chant or something of that nature that they found. And they did it on their A Monkey's Christmas, which was their Christmas episode of 66.
For those of you keeping track of those things and wanting to bet on them sometime tomorrow. All right. Here's the thing. Last year, or previous show when we did this, the year before last, we did a kind of a version of this show. This is a Guess Who time. It's Guess Who time. I'm not going to, well, I'm going to tell you who the
Guess Who?
Guess Who. No, not the Guess Who.
Oh,
a
okay.
Guess Who. A Guess Who song. I'm not going to tell you anything about it except, well, I'm not going to tell you anything. I will tell you this.
It's a Guess Who song.
I will tell you this.
The band Guess Who?
Not the band Guess Who.
Oh, okay.
I will tell you this. Who's on first? There are a number of Christmas songs that, and again, fall into that category of, oh, it's so wonderful and I love it, or they hate it with a passion because what I think, hokey, maudlin.
Right.
Loretta Lynn did one called Christmas Without Daddy. John Denver's Please Daddy Don't Get Drunk This Christmas. The Christmas Shoes. If you don't know the Christmas Shoes, check it out. Listen to it one time, and I promise you'll probably never listen to it again because it's just like, for God's sake, man, it's Christmas. Don't do that.
Right.
This is not that bad, if I do say so myself, but it's because we all have our opinions. I want to play the song for you, and just for fun, I want you to see if, A, you can figure out, well, who's doing it, okay, where it came
You already
from.
said it's the Guess Who.
See, the thing with comedy like that is it's sort of like it's not like a running a 5K. Once you pass the finish line and you're done, you need to stop running. Okay, you've milked that.
But if
that
you
cow
do
is
it-
empty, man.
But I found if you do it enough, it becomes funny again.
No, that's not true. Give this a listen and listen to the lyrics. It's poignant, okay, and will touch the cockles of your heart.
Was the night before Christmas some years ago. He was shy of 11 with some room to grow. His daddy'd been drinking when the boy went to bed. His mama'd been crying, her eyes were all red. He knew they'd been fighting, but he didn't know why. A good man like that would make mama cry. As the snow started falling, he prayed by his bed. All I want for Christmas is a family again. Some hours later, he awoke with there in the night. He started to cry. Then he heard a voice say, "Don't be afraid. Come ride in my sleigh." The old man who called himself Santa reached out and took that boy by the hand. The old man who called himself Santa flew him all over the land. The old man was dressed in an outfit of red, and 8 tiny reindeer were pulling his sleigh. They flew over cities, they flew over towns, leaving gifts for the children, never touching the ground. Then he looked at the boy with his twinkling eyes. "It's just about time for one last surprise. It's a personal gift, and it's for you alone. Look by the tree when I take you back home." One minute the boy was riding on a sled, and the next thing he knew, he was right back in his bed. And out from under the covers, he raced down the stairs to see what the old man had left for him there. In the glow of the tinsel and the twinkling lights, he saw his mama and daddy were hugging each other real tight. He ran up and grabbed him. As he looked to the sky, he whispered, "Merry Christmas, old man, and thanks for the ride." The old man who called himself Santa made that Christmas the one that he still recalls. The old man who called himself Santa gave that small boy the best gift of all. I guess that by now you must realize that I was the boy that the old man surprised. And I might have been dreaming. That's how things worked out. But a child's dreams in December are what Christmas is all about. Merry Christmas.
Oh my God, get me a hanky, man. For heaven's sakes. All right. Quick go around there. Dave correctly identified the period.
Yes,
of
I did.
the piece.
Well, based on the drum sound.
And it's a very hard to find copy that I was able to churn up. That's why the quality of the sound wasn't up to conventionally modern recording standards. But yeah, you're right. It was Drum Machine.
Yeah.
And you said you had a couple of guesses as to who you thought it was.
Yeah, well, at times it sounded like Randy Travis. At times it didn't. So I'm saying that's no on Randy Travis.
No, well, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
Drum roll. CBS recording artist Keith Palmer.
Who the fuck is Keith Palmer?
Keith Palmer was a young fellow who came to Nashville in the early 1980s and just had he had a lovely voice, singing voice, as you can even tell from that. And he was quite a competent piano player. He did a lot of studio work, and he got himself a deal. And he had a stage presence problem. He was okay on stage, but he was timid. He was a beautiful singer, did a lot of studio vocals and things like that, which is where I heard him. And he recorded a number of songs, one album for CBS Records, a couple of singles that didn't go anywhere. But I pulled the old semi-switcheroo on you because it's not about who's singing it. Keith Palmer, I met him, as I said, before he got his record deal. He and I were writers at the same publishing company on 16th Avenue in Nashville. And he recorded that demo for me. I wrote that song.
Oh, you wrote that song?
I wrote that song.
Oh, that's a good
with
song,
the company
Scott.
that I was working with. So.
That's good. That's nice.
Shameless self-promotion here on Christmas time. All right.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it's maudlin as hell, but that's one of those things that people go, oh, it was mom and daddy got back together. That's just so precious and beautiful. All right, what else you got?
This is a Davy Jones take on a classic, also from the Monkees Christmas Party, but the original version showed up on his 1971 It's Christmas Time Once More. And as we talked during the break, because Neil Diamond had such a successful Christmas album when Davy Jones left the Monkees, they said, you got to make a Christmas album. So Davy Jones' second album was actually a Christmas album.
And there you go.
And here's his version of Silver Bells.
Feel free to sing along. And Santa doesn't save any mommy or daddy at the end of this. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Hear them ring, ring-a-ling. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of streetlights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all the bustle you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Hear them ring, ring-a-ling. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Hear them ring, ring-a-ling. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Soon it will be Christmas Day.
Davy Jones, ladies and gentlemen.
If you're not feeling Christmassy,
that's right.
There's something wrong. Check your pulse.
Quick trivia, and I'm sure you know, David Bowie, his real name,
Davy Jones,
and the reason he changed it
because of Davy Jones.
Because of Davy Jones. Oh gosh, it's time for a useless fact.
And now another useless fact.
Well, David liked this one in particular, and you'll know why in just a second. In a 1979 academic paper, astronomer George Banos wrote that the Holy Star of Bethlehem, the signpost of the birthplace of the baby Jesus, was in fact Uranus. Experts say, well, it could have been a comet too, but Uranus is funnier.
He said dick.
All right, speaking of funny, time for a little lightheartedness. Ricky Lindholm and Kate Micucci, you may not know the names, and I knew Simmons was going to laugh when I said Micucci, and I saw her on Conan, and she said to Conan, yes, I know my name is Micucci, and
he said dick.
They made fun of that. But you know who they are. First of all, well, I'll tell you about that in a second.
If I married her, she would definitely hyphenate that name.
Absolutely. Simmons Micucci Simmons. Well, she's calling you a coochie. And so much for the family atmosphere of the program. But you know who they are. You've heard their work in an odd place or two. They're both actresses, not full-time. They're comedic songwriters and performers. Right. They have a little duo thing they do. But you've seen them. Okay. Kate played Lucy, the beetle haircut, socially weird, climbing out the window to avoid Raj girlfriend on Big Bang Theory a couple of times. And her partner, Ricky, was in an episode or two as Dr. Nowitzki, the grad student who was keeping Sheldon on a short leash to get the thing.
Their live show is really funny.
They perform comedically as Garfunkel and Oates.
Yes.
And if Google them, and you're going to love it. But this is a Christmas favorite of mine. I've played it on a number of Christmas shows since I discovered it. And it's universal because, boy, oh boy, we've all been there. The comedy stylings, Christmasly speaking, of Garfunkel and Oates.
Christmas comes but once a year and mostly it is swell. But there's an epidemic that I think we all know well. Your smile is frozen open, there's a crazed look in your eye. You overflow with compliments while trying to deny that you loathe the gift you opened, but you try to keep your grace. Your scary grin is frozen, don't you know you've got a case of present face, present face, present face, present face. Oh, thank you so much. You really hoped your parents would give you a great big check. Instead, you got a puffy painted hummingbird turtleneck. And you hoped for an engagement ring inside that tiny box. But your stupid former future husband only bought you socks. Now your face is all contorted as you're trying to erase the truth behind that smile. Don't you know you've got a case of present face, present face, present face, present face. Oh my God, this is so pretty, and I'll totally use it. It's like purple on the sides are
the way
fuzzy.
it has
I
a
love
sparkly
it. Wow.
accent to it.
Do they see how much I hate it? I hope that they don't know. I can't tell if they're on to me. Oh, please don't let it show. Baby Jesus got some gold, what all infants prefer. But I bet he got the present face with frankincense and myrrh. Christmas and his birthday are both on the 25th. It must have sucked to have to open combination gifts. But if Jesus couldn't hide it from his omnipresent place, you and I are doomed to an everlasting case of present face. You shouldn't have present face.
Just what I wanted.
Present face.
For all the times I go fishing.
Present face. Oh.
By the way, I forgot to mention.
That was good.
I forgot to mention in the intro that among the other things that they did, besides guesting on Big Bang Theory, they were responsible for the 2 or 3 novelty songs that were done during the course of the Big Bang show. Then the seasons 1 in particular, you'll probably remember if you're a fan of the show. Bernadette had to be isolated in quarantine because of a germ or something, and the whole gang came to play an anniversary song, and Howard played it, and the hook line of the thing was, "I'd probably still be living with my mom." It was a little Greek chorus thing. It was cute as shit. Micucci and Lindholm wrote that stuff, and they wrote all it. Yeah, you're gonna milk it for all it goes. The order got a little messed up, so right away again, finally and lastly, the useless fact.
And now another useless fact.
In his, a lot of scholarly stuff this year, in his 1999 book, The Physics of Christmas, From the Aerodynamics of Reindeer to the Thermodynamics of Turkey, as in the bird that we eat. Author Roger Highfield shares that the cause of Rudolph's red nose, and this is not a comic thing, this is supposedly academic stuff. The cause of Rudolph's red nose is not, as satirically suggested, alcoholism, but is in fact some kind of parasitic infection.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And with parasitic infection, there's a Steve Bannon joke screaming to get out, but that ain't going to happen because...
Holy shit, it's Christmas.
That's right. And we promise not to be political this time around. All right. I'm screwing the order up just a little bit. It's Dave's turn, but Dave doesn't get a turn because Dave's going to do the last song, and that's coming up right after this. This is one of those songs that, and there are many in the Christmas song cupboard, that fall into that. Like we started off with McCartney. People love it or they hate it. This one is one of those kind of same thing. Nobody falls in the crack. Yes, he said crack. They either like, oh, I love that, it's so poignant and Christmassy, and otherwise, and other people are like, if you play that song one more time, I'm gonna take you and I'm gonna take you and parumpa-pum-pum you with my Glock. Okay, and yes, I'm talking about the Little Drummer Boy. I have searched through the years when I've done Christmas specials and Christmas shows on music radio because people enjoy it. It was kind of a quest for a number of years to find a version of Little Drummer Boy that didn't make me want to take out the Glock and go looking for people. I found one a couple of years ago, and I can't remember who it was. I want to say Faith Hill. Her version's pretty good. It's Faith Hill. She sings so great that you kind of get distracted from the fact that what you're hearing is parumpa-pum-pum over and over and over and over and over again. But I came across this inadvertently the other day, and I thought, yeah, this is cool. The video is charming as all giddy up. You can find it on YouTube. Carrie Underwood is now a married lady, and has been for a while, to Mike Fisher, who's a professional hockey player. Mm-hmm. They have a child. His name is Isaiah, and at the time this recording was made, I want to say he was like 6, either 5 or 6. The video is as cute as it can be. She brought him into the studio to record Little Drummer Boy as a duet. What you're going to hear is their version of the song, which I think is just cool. It's just lovely. She sings her ass off, but he's pretty amazing for his age, of course, with the DNA. There you go.
Right.
And you're going to hear a little spoken thing right at the beginning, and just so you don't miss it because it's kind of quick, I'm telling you that she's basically saying to him, okay, we'll take it a few times and we'll run it and see if everything's fine. And he is absolutely, you got to see the video. You got to find it. The epitome of confidence. Not cocky, but just, okay, whatever you need, I got it. I've covered. I'm ready. Let's rock.
And he's 6?
Yeah, at the time, this was
that's
recorded.
Funny.
All right, check this out. It's Carrie Underwood and her son, Isaiah Fisher, on the Blab Christmas.
We can just try it a couple times and see how it feels.
I can do it. How much time did you want? I'm ready. Little baby, power pum pum pum. I am a poor boy too. Power pum pum pum. I have no gift to bring. Power pum pum pum. That's fit to give our king. Power pum pum pum. Wum pum pum pum. Wum pum pum pum. Shall I play for you? Power pum pum pum. Come my drum.
Every night it pum pum pum. The ox and lamb kept time. Pum pum pum. I played my drum for him. Pum 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 pum. I played my best for him. Pum 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 pum. Wum pum pum pum. Wum pum pum pum. Then he smiled at me. Pum 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 pum. Me and my drum. Me and my drum. Me and my drum.
I think it's the best snort.
Me too.
Because you're singing on it.
Yeah.
Love you.
Love you too, Mama.
That was good. That was good.
Love you too, Mama.
The version I always like is the Bing Crosby, David Bowie.
Yeah, that's a different kettle of fish. But, but this is
that was cute. That was cute.
it's all charming. But find the video. You'll go more than several times, and not because it's hokey, but because it's really really cute. All right, it's coming right up on the end of it, just about on time. Dave's got the final, and we'll just do this. Well, go ahead and do your info there, and then we'll do a formal farewell.
There we go. When they got together to do the Monkees Christmas party, Davey had died. Peter was very ill. I mean, he was on basically death's doorstep, but he did come and contribute to a song. They contacted Mike and told Mike Nesmith the idea, and he said, "I don't really feel like writing any Christmas music," and he said, "But I would like to. There are two classics I'd really like to do." So Mike did what it Snowfall, and then this song here that we're going to play, the Christmas song, which Nat King Cole made.
Nat King Cole made Mel Torme a very happy guy.
Yes, made it irreplaceable. This so much is Nat King Cole's song that Julie refuses to listen to any other version. Well, I had her captive in the car when we were going to the beach Sunday.
Right.
And at 60 miles an hour, she's not going to get out. So I said, "Listen to this." And she said, "That's really good."
And it has a particular poignancy,
Yes.
which will be obvious when
Right.
the exchange between Mickey and Mike, given that Mike is gone now.
So I think that this is will become one of my Christmas favorites, of all time.
Okay.
So
there it is.
There it is.
All right. Well, we're done, and we'll go out with that in the course of it. So thanks to everybody for a great year. Be safe. Have a wonderful Christmas time, or as the boys from Liverpool said, have a happy Christmas and a very new year. I like
a very
this. It's
new
like
year.
how new is very
a Merry
new.
Kringle. Have
That's
a
right.
Merry Kringle.
And as far as when we'll be back, I don't know. Maybe we'll do a New Year's show, or maybe we'll just be busy running for president, or what the hell. You never know what's going on around here. Be safe. Don't eat the marshmallow pineapple fufu salad. That shit. We worry about COVID.
What is that called?
Different things. I know it's been called ambrosia.
Ambrosia. That's what I've heard. Yeah.
I know what my father calls it, but this is.
And then what is Watergate salad? That is.
I don't know, but you have to break in to get it. Yeah, I had to see it coming. The guy throws me softballs.
I threw it up above the rim. I thought you were going to dunk it.
I teed it up and I just let it go. Seriously, thanks for everything. Happy holidays to everybody. And anything else?
No.
All right, that's it. And although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
to you from the Blab.
Well, Mick, here we are. It's that time of year again.
Yeah. Nothing says Merry Christmas like a boat ride in 105-degree weather in sunny Southern California.
I guess so.
Oh, hang on. I love this part.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. Simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
Well, that was great.
Yeah, I just wish I'd had time to get you guys presents.
Wait a minute. What is that?
I don't know. Well, just kidding, Mike. It's your Christmas present.
Well, that's great.